Everyone thinks owning land in America is impossible, that you need rich parents, crypto luck, or a 30-year mortgage. But that's not true. There are real cities in the United States where you can buy land for less than a used smartphone. Not scams, not fake listings, actual legal property. And the reason it's so cheap is not what you think. It's not always desert. It's not always toxic. Sometimes. It's just a place the economy forgot. Today we're counting down 12 U.S. cities where land prices feel like a system error. One city literally sells lots cheaper than a parking ticket. Another has property taxes higher than the land value. And one place is begging outsiders to buy land before the town disappears completely. This is not about dreams. This is about reality. Let's start. Number 12. Detroit, Michigan. Detroit is the most famous cheap land city in America. At its peak, nearly 2 million people lived here. Today, it's closer to 600,000. That collapse left behind tens of thousands of empty lots. Real prices? $500 to $2,000 for residential lots. Some auction properties under $300. Utilities often already exist. Water, sewer, roads, all there. But here's the catch. You're not buying into growth. You're buying into uncertainty. Entire blocks are empty. Crime varies by street. Services are inconsistent. Detroit land is cheap because the city is still trying to recover from a collapse that never fully ended. Number 11. Gary, Indiana. Gary feels like a city that time forgot. Once a steel powerhouse, now one of the most abandoned urban areas in the Midwest. Prices: $500 to $2,500 for lots. Some properties literally unsellable. The economy never replaced steel. Demand never came back. Even Lake Michigan views don't save it. Gary land is cheap because people don't just leave, they never return. Number 10. Flint, Michigan. Flint isn't just famous for water problems. It's famous for losing its entire purpose. When auto manufacturing left, everything left with it. Prices: $400 to $2,500 lots. Massive supply, almost no demand. Even today, many neighborhoods feel frozen in decline. Flint land is cheap because trust, economic and psychological, never recovered. Number 9. St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis is two cities in one. One part is growing, modern, expensive. Another part looks abandoned. North side prices: $1,000 to $4,000 lots. South side prices: 10x higher. Same city, completely different reality. Cheap land exists only where the city lost its population and never replaced it. Number 8. Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland has beautiful areas, and then entire neighborhoods that feel erased. Prices: $2,500 to $5,000 in struggling zones. The lakefront is thriving. A few miles inland, land feels almost free. Cleveland land is cheap because revival is selective, not universal. Number 7. Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis is a major city with shocking land prices. But the reason is simple: crime concentration. Prices: $2,000 to $6,000 in high-risk areas. The land isn't bad. The infrastructure isn't gone. But safety is the real currency, and many neighborhoods lost it. Number 6. Baltimore, Maryland. East Coast city, Midwest land prices. Prices: $1,000 to $7,000 in abandoned districts. Row houses sit empty. Entire streets boarded up. Baltimore land is cheap because decline stayed localized and never reversed. Number 5. Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham never found a new identity after steel. Prices: $3,000 to $10,000 lots. The city isn't collapsing fast. It's just slowly shrinking. The worst kind of decline is quiet decline. That's Birmingham. Number 4. Youngstown, Ohio. Youngstown is what happens when industry dies completely. Population fell over 60%. Prices: $300 to $2,000. Some lots don't even get bids. Not because they're bad, because no one needs them. Youngstown land is cheap because demand is basically zero. Number 3. Saginaw, Michigan. Saginaw makes Detroit look expensive. Prices: $200 to $1,000. Utilities exist. Land is legal. Still nobody buys. Why? Because the city lost both jobs and hope. That's the most dangerous economic combination. Number 2. East St. Louis, Illinois. This is the extreme case. Prices: $100 to $2,500. Entire blocks empty. Infrastructure failing. Government barely functioning. This isn't speculation. This is survival economics. East St. Louis is what happens when a city collapses completely and never restarts. Number 1. Brownsville, Texas, the exception. Brownsville is different. It's not dying, it's not abandoned. It's just remote. Border city, low incomes, far from major hubs. Prices, $6,000 to $20,000. But here's the key. People actually live here. The economy exists. The city functions. Brownsville land is cheap, not because it failed, but because it sits at the edge of the American economy. Remote, not broken. Final message. Cheap land doesn't mean opportunity, and expensive land doesn't mean safety. Land prices are not about beauty. They're about demand, jobs, crime, and whether people believe a place has a future. Sometimes $300 land is overpriced. Sometimes $10,000 land is a steal. The price isn't the story. The city is. And every cheap city is cheap for a reason. Final CTA. If you had $5,000 right now, which city would you risk it on? Or would you walk away from all of them? Because sometimes the cheapest land in America is also the most expensive mistake.